Have you ever sat down with a stack of Medicare mail and thought, why does this feel harder than it should be? If so, trust me, you're not alone. For many people turning 65, figuring out Medicare feels like trying to decode a puzzle with pieces scattered across different brochures, websites, and phone calls. It's supposed to help us feel more secure in our health, but instead, it often brings more confusion than comfort. But here's the truth, once you understand just a few key things, Medicare starts to make a lot more sense. And getting it right from the beginning can make a huge difference in the care you get, the money you save, and the peace of mind you feel. In this video, we're going to take that stress off your shoulders. We'll walk through 5 simple, essential things you need to know as someone new to Medicare, not the technical jargon, but the real stuff that impacts your everyday life. Let's start with the first one, understanding when and how to enroll. This might sound basic, but timing is everything with Medicare. If you're turning 65, you're automatically given a 7-month window, 3 months before your birthday month, the month of, and 3 months after, to sign up for Medicare Part A and Part B. That's your initial enrollment period. Now, here's where it gets tricky. A lot of people assume that because they're still working, or because they're covered by their spouse's employer insurance, they don't need to do anything. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. If your employer has fewer than 20 employees, you might have to enroll in Medicare anyway to avoid late penalties and coverage gaps. And if you miss your initial enrollment period without having qualifying coverage, you may have to wait until the general enrollment period, which is from January 1st to March 31st each year, and your coverage won't even start until July. That can mean months without coverage. And penalties? They don't go away. They stay with you for life. That's why, if there's any doubt, it's better to check. You can talk to Social Security, a Medicare advisor, or your HR department if you're still working. But don't leave it to guesswork. A 5-minute call can save you years of regret. Now that we've tackled timing, let's move into the second point, understanding the parts of Medicare. There's Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D, and if you're already confused, you're in good company. Think of it this way. Part A is your hospital insurance. It covers inpatient stays, skilled nursing facilities, hospice care, and some home health care. It's usually premium-free if you've worked 10 years or more. Part B is your medical insurance. This covers things like doctor visits, outpatient care, preventive services, and durable medical equipment. Part B does come with a monthly premium, which for most people in 2025 is around $175.20, though it may be higher if your income is above a certain level. Together, Part A and B are considered original Medicare. They give you broad coverage, but not everything. For instance, there's no cap on out-of-pocket costs, and they don't cover things like prescription drugs, dental, vision, or hearing. And that leads us into the third point, Medicare Advantage, also known as Part C. This is where things really start to branch out, and it's often where people start feeling overwhelmed. So let's keep it simple. Medicare Advantage plans are offered by private insurance companies approved by Medicare. They bundle your Part A and B coverage, and often Part D, into one plan. Many of them also include extras like dental or vision, and they have an annual out-of-pocket limit, which original Medicare doesn't. That can be a lifesaver for those who are worried about big medical bills. But there's a trade-off. With Medicare Advantage, you usually have to use the plan's network of doctors and hospitals. That means you may have to get referrals or face restrictions if you go outside the network. So, what's better, original Medicare or Medicare Advantage? Honestly, it depends on your personal situation. If you travel a lot, need flexibility, or want to see specific doctors, original Medicare might be better. If you're looking to simplify things and keep costs predictable, Medicare Advantage might be the way to go. These choices can feel overwhelming, but don't let that hold you back. This is your health we're talking about. Take the time to explore your options, because the right plan can make the difference between feeling stuck or feeling supported. Now that we've covered the basics of enrollment and the different parts of Medicare, let's continue on to our next key point. how to fill in the gaps that original Medicare doesn't cover, and this brings us to Medigap, or Medicare Supplement Insurance. If you're someone who's leaning toward original Medicare because you like the flexibility of seeing any doctor who accepts Medicare, then you'll probably want to learn about Medigap plans. These are offered by private insurance companies and are designed to cover the gaps that Medicare Parts A and B leave behind, like co-insurance, co-payments, and deductibles. Imagine this: you're hospitalized and owe a deductible of over $1,600 just for walking through the door. Then, if you're there more than 60 days, you start paying a daily copayment. Medicare takes care of a lot, but not everything. A Medigap plan steps in and helps cover those costs so you're not facing surprise bills during an already stressful time. But here's what a lot of folks miss: the best time to buy a Medigap plan is during your Medigap open enrollment period. That's a 6-month window that starts the month you turn 65 and are enrolled in Part B. During that time, insurance companies have to sell you a policy at the best available rate, and they can't deny you based on pre-existing conditions. Wait too long, and that might not be the case. Outside of that window, companies can charge more or even deny coverage altogether based on your health history. So if Medigap is something you're considering, don't delay. Now, let's talk about Part D, prescription drug coverage. Whether you stick with original Medicare or go with a Medicare Advantage plan, you need to think about your medications. Because Medicare Parts A and B don't cover most prescription drugs. If you choose original Medicare, you'll need to enroll in a standalone Part D plan. These plans vary widely, and it's really important to check which drugs are covered. Not all plans cover the same medications. Also, look at pharmacies in network, copay tiers, and whether your specific prescriptions are considered preferred. Here's where many people get tripped up. They think, well, I'm not taking any prescriptions right now, so I'll just skip it. That sounds logical, but it can cost you. If you don't have what Medicare considers creditable drug coverage, and you enroll in Part D later, you may face a permanent late enrollment penalty. That means higher premiums for the rest of your life, just because you delayed. Even if you're healthy now, a basic Part D plan is worth considering. Think of it like insurance for your future self. And if you go the Medicare Advantage route, many of those plans already include drug coverage, but again, make sure your medications are covered. Don't assume, check the plan details. What works for your neighbor might not work for you. That brings us to a really important concept, and it's not about a specific plan or part, it's about annual reviews. Medicare isn't set it and forget it. Every year, plans can change. Premiums go up, drug formularies shift, doctors leave networks. What worked perfectly for you this year might not be a great fit next year. Each fall, during the Medicare open enrollment period, from October 15th to December 7th, you can switch plans. You can go from original Medicare to Medicare Advantage, switch Advantage plans, or change Part D plans. This is your chance to make adjustments based on what you've learned or what's changed in your health. And here's a little secret: taking just 30 minutes to review your plan once a year could save you hundreds, even thousands, of dollars. Most people never do it. But those who do, they're the ones who stay ahead of the curve. So, as you're getting started with Medicare, make it a habit. Review your coverage every fall. Talk to a licensed agent. Use Medicare's Plan Finder tool. Ask questions. It's your right, and it can make a world of difference. Now that we've covered how to fill in the gaps with Medigap or Advantage plans, how to protect yourself with Part D, and why reviewing your plan yearly matters, there's one final point that ties it all together, and it has nothing to do with paperwork or policies. It's about you, your confidence, and your peace of mind. Your confidence and your peace of mind. Because here's the truth: Medicare isn't just about insurance. It's about feeling secure, knowing that no matter what comes your way, you've got a system that can help protect your health, your savings, and your independence. But to get there, you have to go beyond the surface. You have to understand your options, and more importantly, understand yourself. What kind of lifestyle do you want in retirement? Do you value flexibility in choosing your doctors, or do you prefer an all-in-one plan that's easier to manage? Are you someone who visits specialists frequently, or do you only see a doctor a few times a year? Do you take multiple medications or none at all? There's no one-size-fits-all answer in Medicare. What matters most is that your coverage reflects you, your needs, your habits, your peace of mind. Maybe that means sticking with original Medicare and pairing it with a Medigap plan for broader coverage. Maybe it means enrolling in a Medicare Advantage plan with extra benefits like vision, dental, or fitness perks. Or maybe it means talking to someone you trust, a licensed Medicare counselor or agent, to walk you through the choices step by step. And don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question when it comes to something as important as your health. Whether you're wondering what a formulary means or trying to figure out the difference between Part B and Part D, ask. Read. Watch. Learn. And remember, you don't have to figure it all out in one day. Medicare is a journey. It's not just about enrolling at 65 and never thinking about it again. It's about checking in with yourself, adjusting as your needs evolve, reviewing your plan every year, just like you would your home insurance or car coverage. It's about being proactive, because no one will care about your health more than you. One of the biggest fears I hear from people stepping into Medicare for the first time is this: what if I mess it up? Let me say this clearly, you're not alone, and you're not going to mess it up. The fact that you're even watching this video means you're ahead of the game. You're being thoughtful. You're taking control. And that already sets you on a great path. The more you know, the better decisions you'll make. And the better those decisions, the more you'll feel empowered, not overwhelmed, by this next chapter of life. So take a breath. You've got this. And before we wrap up, let's do a quick reminder of what we covered today, not in a list, but in a feeling. A feeling of confidence. You now understand what Medicare is, Parts A and B, and that it's not everything. You've learned that you may need a Medicare Advantage plan or Medigap to fill in the gaps, and that timing matters when it comes to enrollment. You've seen why prescription drug coverage is important, even if you're not taking any meds right now. You've heard why reviewing your plan every fall can save you stress and money. And most importantly, you've been reminded that your health and well-being are worth this time and care. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing about Medicare that still feels confusing? What part of the process are you most unsure about? Drop a comment below. Let's support each other through this. And if this video helped you even a little, give it a like so more people just like you can find it. Subscribe if you want more clear, kind, and practical advice like this. Because we're in this together. And here's to living your healthiest, happiest, most empowered life at any age. Thanks for watching. Take good care of yourself.